Hey, I'm Emma Garlett and welcome to Paint It Black. This week I want to highlight an issue which has been swept under the carpet for so long but is currently undergoing a Senate inquiry. There are so many cases where our women and children are murdered and the case isn't treated as seriously as it should be. And why is no one looking for the 248 Aboriginal kids who are missing between the area of Western Australia, Northern Territory and South Australia? Senator Dorinda Cox explains.
People just dismiss that as maybe they're with a family member, or maybe they've gone walkabout, or maybe they're in detention. For me, there's a real sense of urgency about why isn't anybody looking for these kids? You know, what is it that we need to change?
10 years ago, in 2013, Yamatji woman Tamika Malalay's baby boy Charlie was taken, tortured and murdered by her former partner Mervyn Bell. The Corruption and Crime Commission found that the Broome Police didn't respond to Tamika as a victim. They also found that the police didn't make an effort to locate Mervyn Bell. Baby Charlie's family wanted an inquest into his death, but it was denied. An innocent little baby was tortured and killed, but there was no inquiry into the lack of police response.
In the case of Cleo Smith in Carnarvon, and it was great that she was found as a very young child from a white family, but not the same response was held for Tamika Malalay's little baby Charlie.
Last August, the Senate referred an inquiry into missing and murdered Indigenous women and children.
Basically looks at a whole systemic approach of both homicide cases but also missing person cases, and to tell us why the system is geared towards the disparity in relation to response. So we know as First Nations people in this country that we are overrepresented, but we really want to know why the response is different in different places, but also for mob versus mainstream Australia.
Submissions have been received from organisations and individuals around Australia. Public hearings are being held around Australia, including in Sydney, Canberra in the ACT and here in Perth.
We had really good evidence from people like the Director of Public Prosecutions here in WA. We questioned the CCC, the WA Crime and Corruption Commission in relation to the Malay case.
But despite the West Australian Police saying they would show up, they didn't. Senator Dorinda Cox said the no-show of police was a slap in the face.
It's very disappointing because we'd interviewed already or had New South Wales Police provide us evidence to this inquiry in relation to what they did in the Barraville murders and how they've improved that now some 30, 40 years later.
The police have an important role to play.
What we need is the police to understand where they've gone wrong, the serious misconduct in that, and we need the systems to change. We need them to be trained effectively, and we need change in the system that flips the switch in a way that compels people to do the right thing.
And Western Australia's Commissioner for Children and Young People, Jacqueline McGowan-Jones, said racism is huge, and in WA, that's a part of the problem. And too many times, racial bias and profiling of Aboriginal people by police has devastating consequences.
But what we know now is people like the Commissioner for Children and Young People here in Western Australia, Jacqueline McGowan-Jones, told us there's 248 Aboriginal kids in the tri-state area between Western Australia, Northern Territory and South Australia who are still missing, and that people don't know where they are. So, and no one's looking for them, which is even more alarming.
Jody Gore is a First Nations woman who was forced into a situation where she had to kill or be killed. The Kununurra woman was found guilty of the murder of her ex-partner Damien Jones in 2016. Jody was a domestic violence victim, yet despite this, her history was not taken into account before being handed a life sentence. Why are the most vulnerable members of our community not treated with the respect and the care that they deserve? Something needs to change.
There has to be a time of reckoning in the way that this system recognises the urgency of these cases and the fact that there is a different response because there is a black woman and a black child at the end of that. We need to look at the systems which they operate within and understanding why people are not compelled to do that as part of their job. I think what we rely on is the goodwill of people, and that's not working. We are seeing the most tragic circumstances and outcomes because we rely on people to do the right thing, and that's not happening, not for our people.
Thanks for watching Paint It Black with me, Emma Garlett. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode.